So what you're really saying is you don't trust police, you leave your chair alone once you stand up? All right. Okay. All right, guys. Ready to roll?
Ladies and gentlemen, is this on? Yes. Right. Great to see you all. Is this 8 o'clock? 6 o'clock. Right. It's 6 o'clock. And we almost outnumber the band. That's terrific. This is a unique bunch of people here. It's called the Richmond Cadet Alumni Band. Back in the ancient ages of 19-teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, when the Richmond public high schools began, I wasn't there, but I did graduate from Thomas Jefferson in 1958. Thomas Jefferson opened in 30, and John Marshall downtown, the old John Marshall School, opened, I think, in the 20s. 15? Great. Right. Right in, smack dab in World War I. Yes. Yes. So what we have here are the remnants of the...
Speak for yourself.
The survivors, like the rest of us in this room, right. We're all survivors, so we really know each other well. Yes, ma'am? You waving at me for some reason? Oh, at the band members. Yeah, well, these are great people, and be sure to come up here because I know there are graduates of Thomas Jefferson and John Marshall and other places. Gradually, I think, if my dates are right, and they're not always right, in the 70s, the cadet corps at the public high schools disappeared, but the bands didn't. And these people are survivors of those bands in various of the schools, and some more are just friends. So they still like to play the wonderful band music, marches and pop songs and jazz and so on. And they've come to do that for you. I said I went to TJ. I played violin, so I did not play in the band. Anybody here from Philadelphia? Have you ever heard the Furco String Band? Yes. It's the only one I know of that has marching violins that go down the street. And I've forgotten what the cellos and the basses do. But there's Furco, but then there are regular bands like these people here. Yeah. So please enjoy them. And I understand someone else here wants to say something before the music starts.
I'm George McCabe. I'm a resident here at Covenant Woods, and I'm a graduate of John Marshall High School in C Company in 1953-54. And we marched in Eisenhower's inauguration parade at the same time. And I'm glad to say that everybody got together. We always got together on the gridiron a lot of times, but I'm glad to see that everybody is here, and we're glad to have you here at Covenant Woods. Thank you.
Without further ado, the Richmond Cadet Alumni Band.
They told me I had to speak into one of these. So thank you once again for having us. We've been here before, and we're happy to be here with you this evening. And a special shout out to those of you who are watching from your rooms and from the bars and from all those other places that they don't know about. Our first selection tonight is going to be the Billboard March. Thank you very much. As was mentioned earlier, this group is a combination of cadet members from the cadet bands back in the day. And I think we have at least three of those bands represented. John Marshall, for those of you who forgot where y'all went to school. Thomas Jefferson, George Wythe, and the rest of us are just friends. Look, don't put your hands up anymore. I'm sorry. The next selection we're going to do for you is entitled Selections from South Pacific. Now, y'all heard of that before? Just an interesting note, there are a lot of band directors up here, or several, at least me and two others. We go to school and we got to learn how to do all these things that we swore we would never learn how to do. Singing was one of them for me, but I do okay with it. But we have to learn to sight sing. And one of the things that I had to learn were the intervals and the notes. And South Pacific is the one song that we used for a particular interval, and that's the seventh. How many music people got in here? So y'all know what a seventh is. And the tune that we learned to identify that is Bally High. So you'll hear that somewhere in this song. And it's used in a lot of places. South Pacific. Thank you so much. How many of you all enjoyed that music lesson? Thank you so much. The next selection we're going to play is a new selection. It's not that new, but it's having a revival. And I just found out recently that they cheated and only told you after a year or so that Wicked was only part one. So there's a part two of Wicked coming. But I got to see part one. I'm just looking to make sure that I'm conducting the piece that they're playing, because once I get them started, I'm just trying to look good and keep up with them. This is a selection from Wicked, and let's see. It has the following selections in it. No One Mourns the Wicked. Ain't that the truth? Dancing Through Life, Defying Gravity, and For Good. Music from Wicked. Thank you very much. How many of you have seen Wicked? You're ahead of me. How many of you guys have seen Wicked? Not the guys in the band. All righty. Oh. This stick is getting heavier and heavier. Our next selection that we're going to play for you is a combination of a variety of great movie themes. And these themes were done by John Williams. You're going to hear a little Star Wars, Jurassic Park, and themes from E.T. How many of y'all know who John Williams is? Imagine that. Spielberg was looking for someone to do some of the music for some of his movies. I can't remember which one. So, and he wound up asking John Williams to do some of it. And John said, you really should get someone with a whole lot more talent than me. And he said, well, I would, but they're all dead. And if you, do you all have YouTube in the room on your cell phone? Look up some of the things that he does with the military bands. And the military bands, they don't make mistakes. I think they shoot you if you make a mistake. I went to school with a kid. I'm a tuba player by profession, or used to be anyway. And I marched in the band at Hampton University because Old Dominion didn't have one. And I would come over, and at the time I was doing that, I could practice over there and at Old Dominion and then march up and down the football field and do this, that, and the other. So I had chops of steel. And I was working on these exercises, and it was killing me. And he said, "Can you play that again?" I said, okay, he was a freshman. So I played it for him. And within a week, he was doing them twice as fast and in all 12 keys. And that was a freshman. When he left Hampton University, he walked right into the United States Marine Band in D.C. And he stayed there for years and years and years. He played baritone horn, he played with the Herald Trumpets, and he played in the Washington Redskins marching band as well. So, and he said something stupid in rehearsal one day, and it took me a while to remember his name, but the first trombone player called him Fudd, so in terms of Elmer Fudd. So anyway, John Williams. Y'all get enough break? Yeah. They wait for me to get started, then they ignore me till I. Here we go. Thank you so much. Let's see. Our next selection that we're going to play for you, it's a little different. It was done by, was it Sam and the Sham? Sam and the Sham. Y'all know who that is? Y'all do? Good. That means y'all older than I am. My grandkids don't understand that. Wooly Bully. Uno, dos, 1, 2, 3, cuatro. y'all have to forgive me for wobbling up here. A few years ago, on the last day that I taught school, I had some students that didn't do what they were supposed to do, so they wound up missing their bus. And in Richmond, they combined the schools, the bands, for the Christmas parade. So I had some of my 7th and 8th graders marching in the band. And on Friday afternoon, I wanted to go over and see them. And the last kids that I had couldn't keep their mouth shut, so they managed to miss the bus. So I'm getting ready to go over to the school, and I get a call from the secretary. How many of y'all used to teach? How many of y'all ever pissed off the secretary? Whatever she wanted, she could get on Friday afternoon. So anyway, so I told him, I'd take them home. Don't worry about it. So I put them in my car, and I drive next door to the school, and I kept them in the car, and I'm rushing out to the football field, and I stepped over a handrail. Now, I'm 6'5". Stepping over a handrail is something I've done for years. So I caught my foot and landed on my knees, so that's why I'm wobbling, because I tore the quadriceps in both legs. And they tried to actually send me home because they couldn't see anything wrong, because muscles don't show up. But my wife couldn't hold me up, so she said, call somebody else. But, you know, it's probably a blessing. But generally, I don't tell that story. I generally tell folks that my wife pushed me down the steps. And you'd be surprised that the people said, really, she did that? And they don't know how close I come to that. Anyway, so much for that. This is your chance to exercise, though. If you remember your alphabet, how many letters in the alphabet? 1, 2, 3. How many of y'all played in the band? Anyway, when you hear a letter that you recognize, I want you to jump up and make that sound. YMCA. All right, here we go. 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Where's my girl? They get extra ice cream. How many of you got up every time? They get bourbon with the ice cream. All right. They said thanks for the breeze because they appreciate it out there. I generally don't conduct this group, but John had situated. He had to actually work at his real job, which is a band director at what's the school? At the Stewart School. And he does a really, really nice job there. So they got me to do this. So I'm just happy to do it because usually I play French horn in this group. And it's just a whole lot of fun to do this. We're going to play now for you, New York, New York. How many of y'all been to New York? How many of you snuck to New York and didn't tell anybody? All right, here we go. New York, New York. Keep forgetting. Oh, thank you very much. Nice trip to New York. Now, let's see. You know that we've come from the variety of bands that were in, other cadet bands that were in town. But we have folks from everywhere else as well. And there is no age limit to this group. And we're about to play a selection for you right now called Summertime. It's going to feature one of the youngest members of the group. I got some oceanfront property in Indiana. We'll talk about it later. This is going to feature our very own alto sax virtuoso, Mr. Don Goebel, at the tender age of shh. I think he's 87. Are you 87, Don? He can't remember. Give him a hand. Now, Don isn't the oldest member of the group. We have one young man who's a tad older. I think he's 88 and a half. Fonny?
97.
He's 97. Now, my father-in-law lives with me. He's a vet, and let me tell you, he was born lazy, had a relapse. He doesn't want to do stuff, and he complains about this, that, and the other. And I remind him, I said, look, Dad, how much stuff do you have that's 93 years old that works at all? So when you think of how old you are and how far you've come, just remember to just keep on going. So a couple of weeks ago, he spent 10 days in the hospital. Today, he's getting up by himself. He doesn't like to, but he gets up without my help, and I like that. And I got up so well, he had me cook him breakfast last night at 10 o'clock. Summertime. We got two programs going here. Let's see if we can get them both in the same room at the same time. Second, measure two. Measure two. Measure two. Measure two. Two. Measure two. Measure two. We screwed up measure one. Two. 1, 2, ready, now. Thank you very much. I'd like to take all the credit for that myself, because in spite of what I was conducting, they played the right song. I was conducting New York, New York again. That's what it looked like. Anyway. All right. Now it's, once again, audience participation. How many of y'all are ready to get up? Okay. You don't have to. How many of you know who Cab Calloway is? How many of you know what his most famous song is? Minnie the Moocher. How many of you know how you got the words to it? He forgot them in the show and made those words up on the spot. So that's how that came to pass. So tonight, while they're busy doing what they do, you have to shout and do hidey, 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 hi, hidey, 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 ho on cue. Y'all know when to do it? Let me try this. Y'all know when to do it? Fake it till you make it. And we got some, I'm sorry. We got some soloists tonight. Let me see. They don't have last names because they're in witness protection. We have Marcia on flute. We have Bobby back here on, what's that thing you play? Oh, I thought it was a baritone horn. It's a euphonium. We have Felicia back here. She couldn't find a regular clarinet, so she got a big one. She has a bass clarinet. And then two more unscrupulous men. Back in the back is Dino. He doesn't have a last name either. And we already talked about Don. So when I turn around and y'all know the words, y'all sing them, okay? Stay there. You don't have to look at it anyway. That's true. Do I look good while I'm faking? Yeah. All right, here we go. One, two. Oh, 1, 2, ready, now. Heidi, Heidi. Thank you so much. We've enjoyed playing for you this evening. I'd bend over and pick that up, but I need to make sure that I got plenty of time for someone to help me get up after I get down that low. We're going to conclude our performance tonight with a very familiar march. It's old as dirt, but it's very appropriate for this group. And as the John McAllister, who was conducting this, I can't understand why we've never played this before. It's called the High School Cadets, in honor of all the cadets that we, I'm sorry? High School Cadets. High School Cadets. They're under the impression that I don't run the band. You can play what you want. I'm conducting High School Cadets. Thank you so much for having us. The Richmond Cadet Alumni Band and friends. That's all right.